it's another side that like wants to take more, that wants to go that one more round, because like going in one more round when you don't think you can, that's what makes all the difference in your life. You know what I mean?
Hello and welcome to another episode of One More Round, the Rocky Series podcast. I am your host, Ryan, and with me today, of course, Katie and Kyle. Now, I say of course because we were just talking before we went live about our schedules, and hopefully we'll be here together with future episodes, but there might be some bumps in the road where there might be a new face to replace somebody. But we'll get there when we get there. Katie, how you doing today?
Doing wonderful. How are you two?
Doing good. Sun's out. Weather's still cool, but the sun is out, so that helps with just the mood to see the bright, sunny sky. Kyle, what's the weather, as they say? People love weather talk. What's the weather like in Alberta?
Not bad right now. Most of the snow's melted at this point. People are getting outside a lot more. It's getting way brighter. We're quite far north. I'm farther north than probably most Canadians. It gets real dark in the winter. Now that we're in spring, we're getting a lot more sunlight, and that really helps. Now, like in the summertime, it's light out until 11 at night or later. In June, probably 11:30 or something, probably the sun goes down, like fully.
That's wild.
Like it starts to set around like 10 or something. And then in the dead of winter in December, it's probably like 4 o'clock.
All right. Hey, today's a big episode. I'm excited. And before we get to the actual comments from YouTube there, Katie, just quick little Sly news here. This is just for people who might be interested that, who knows, maybe they get their news source from us. Maybe they don't scour the internet. Okay. So Sly is on Tulsa King, as Katie and I believe we both watched that TV show. Okay. So season 3 is greenlit. I think season 3 and 4 has been greenlit.
Good.
Yeah. But for season 3, they have cast the new baddie for that season. And other than Robert Patrick, famously known for his T-1000 portrayal in T2, Judgment Day. He's the bad guy. And now if you see what he looks like today, it's great. He looks naturally older, which I like. If you see him, he just looks older because he's 70, or I think he's close to it. But it's just funny to see him from T-1000 to today. But he's a great actor, actually. I should say. I like Robert Patrick. I've always enjoyed the stuff that he's in. But if you remember, Robert Patrick and Sly starred together in Copland.
Yeah, Robert Patrick is he is just one of those, he's a solid
working man actor.
Yeah, I like him. He's a good bad guy. Neil McDonough, I can't remember.
A good bad guy.
He's always played a bad guy. He was in season 2 as one of the bad guys. Also,
and your boyfriend.
I hope that keeps going, that storyline.
Did they kind of shake hands and made up, though? They're cool with each other? Or was it a reasonable piece or whatever?
I can't remember, but I guess I would be disappointed if we don't continue along that.
I haven't heard that he's not in it. You could argue that Robert Patrick's character will just be that much more big of a baddie, and then they'll need Grillo's help. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think you and Frank have the same political leanings, but
we do not.
Does that bother you a little bit?
This is a problem. And he is starting to look his age. I will say you can't avoid it forever, but he's still pretty hot.
When I'm his age, I will not look anything like that. Okay. The next Sly news apparently is Sly's book, Steps. Remember that book that he was coming out with? His biography with quotation marks. That's apparently coming out in September of this year. I heard rumors. It's dropping this year.
Is there like a ghostwriter, or is he writing it?
Oh, I suspect he's working with somebody. He's a writer. He's a creative writer. He's a storyteller. But I suspect for editing purposes and prose and proper paragraph structure, he'll have a writer that I think all these celebrities do. Anytime there's a biography of sorts where this says autobiography, yes, it's the story from the actor or singer or whatever it is. They have somebody writing it properly, but it's their story. Like they verbalize, I was in 6th grade and I did this, and then they write it. They probably just take an audio tape and they flesh it out. It's like a human AI probably writing program. I was
going to say maybe he's going to run it through Chat GPT or something.
Oh, maybe.
Hey, this is my biography. Clean this up a bit. Take out some of the Stallone issues.
Are we going to place bets now on the level of storytelling, A, and B, is there going to be anything we haven't already seen? Or no?
Okay, we'll hear the story of Rocky again, how it got made. It'll be fleshed out, maybe. 2, anything that we haven't heard will be endearing to Sly. Nothing will be like, I effed up. I love him, but I don't know if he's brave enough to say, other than, of course, I shouldn't have done stop or my mum will shoot. Ha ha ha. But we've heard that story before, so that's what I mean. If there's any news stories, I wonder which of his news stories will be ones of regret or failure.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's interesting. All these guys are coming out with their memoirs, so to speak, because, and I even heard on the Daily Show, the guest recently was somebody from the Jay Giles band. And he had a lot of stories about Bob Dylan and stuff, like growing up in music back in the day. And he even said, whoever his agent or somebody was like, if you're going to write a book, because people like this, they're like, oh, one day I'll write a book. And they're like, you better do it fast because no one's going to care pretty soon. You're going to die and then go away and no one's going to care, essentially. Now, Stallone is a little different. Like, he'll live on as a kind of more of an iconic legend, but still.
You want to drop it when you're live. Speaking of a passing, of course, the great champion and boxer, George Foreman. Kyle, what are your thoughts on Foreman's passing?
Very sad. He's a very likable person, at least to me he is. The article I read yesterday says the cause of death was unknown. The family didn't say what the cause of death was. So I don't know if it was like a heart attack or cancer or whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter at this point what it is. But yeah, for me, out of curiosity, I'm like, oh, I wish I could know what happened to him. But I have a lot of respect for George Foreman because he came from a pretty troubled background. He obviously made something of himself as champion of the world, and he really transformed himself from like a villainous type of figure to a really humble, friendly, personable guy. Where he had a relationship with Muhammad Ali, and he learned to accept the fact that he lost to him. And he was able to say, Muhammad Ali is the greatest. I'm not the greatest. Even though I would say someone who came back and won the heavyweight championship at 45 years old, that longevity, I think, says a lot about you. I like him personality-wise and as a person. You want to see someone live to a ripe old age and enjoy their life, and it sucks that he died so early, but I think he lived a good life, though.
He lived a good life. 76 is that weird age. It's not ancient. I'm not trying to mark an age on people. We've lost people throughout our life at different ages, but it just seems, all things considered, if your life is just your life, 76 seems youngish with today's medicine and food.
Yeah,
and
I think
diet.
that's around average in the United States for men, life expectancy-wise, but someone like him would have access to the best healthcare and the best of everything, so you think he would live longer. But part of it's your lifestyle, how you live your life, and part of it is just genetics and luck. And
of course, life's a bad luck. Life. Yeah,
some people like they eat like shit. They don't treat themselves well. I'm like, I'm 98. And my secret to a long life is 3 whiskeys for breakfast and 5 cigars. And I'm like, what?
I hate those. I hate those articles. They're such clickbait. The 98-year-old woman says what it's just. Yeah, she or he happens to do that one weird thing, but that's not what kept you alive. It's just you happen to be 98 and you ate Oreo cookies every day. Like that doesn't it doesn't mean that's what kept you alive. I hate that stuff. It's just okay. Rest in peace to George, of course. Katie, did you have any feelings on him in general, or just?
I feel similar to you guys. I wasn't a fan per se, but he seemed like a genuine person. And I too thought 76. Yeah. Yeah. While it is an average life expectancy for the US, that's not now average. Things bring down the average, meaning that's not median. The average is the mean, not the median. But I do think the life expectancy median wise is lower for Black people than white people. He was an athlete, like he got, it was, so
injuries to the head, who knows?
Yeah, he was a bigger guy. My guess would be heart disease or something like that. But one other thing I want to say about George too, I'm not a religious person. George, he became a minister after his first retirement.
That's right.
And I totally respect that. That had a really profoundly positive impact for him. And what I liked about him in that regard is that he wasn't preachy to people. He wasn't putting it in your face. He wasn't saying you better do this or you'll go to hell. You better find Jesus or else. He just lived his life. He wasn't afraid to say he was a person of faith, but he wasn't like a dick about it, basically. And I appreciate that as a non-religious person, and as someone who sees that I don't believe there's like a single way to live your life. There isn't, oh, you have to be this way or that way. And George is someone where it's, I wouldn't do things the way he did it, but I respect the way he did it, and I admire him.
All right, rest in peace to George. And of course, he was partly the inspiration for Rocky Balboa, which we'll get to next season. The inspiration of coming back late in the game in your life when you're a little bit older. I think that was part of that. And also, congrats to George for getting the Foreman grill, because that initially was offered to Hulk Hogan. He turned it down, and I think the better man got the deal.
I think so, too.
Can I share my inappropriate thought?
Oh, boy.
I was like, a great porn name, I think. Call yourself George Foreskin.
or if he's a gay porn star, George Foreman.
Yeah.
Big George.
Yeah. Big George Foreman. Okay. All right. Rest in peace, George. You were awesome. You're a legend. And it seems like you're a decent guy with a big family and a big heart. Okay. All right. What did we get for some of our interaction on our last episode?
We have a comment from Andy Grew.
It's a big one. So pause where you think we could talk about this or that. But it's in response to, he gives a nice little like diatribe on us when he watches our episodes. We appreciate that, Andy. But yeah, so pause where you think it'd be worth, just so we can comment, because he's responding to things that we said during the show.
Got it. Okay. He says, I was really vibing with your Rocky 5 episode. Ryan's spot on with his takes.
Oh, of course. That shouldn't have to be written, but carry on, Andy. Carry on.
Even though I always prefer the Conti score over DeCola, that training montage in 5 feels more like a Rocky movie than anything else in it, hands down.
He felt that music just helps bring you into the Rocky universe, just as a Rocky film. Yeah.
He says, but man, I don't watch things I hate, except Rocky 5, apparently.
He's referring to the comment I made regarding, I think Andy hate watches our show, because he always calls us out.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, that's all. It was his joke saying he doesn't hate watch anything. But yeah, appreciate that, Andy. Yeah.
I can't believe they butchered that basement scene. It was great stuff that could have had a positive ripple effect through the whole film. And the work print, it clearly does a better job showing Tommy's transformation from wide-eyed rookie to brainwashed scumbag. Way better than the theatrical cut, where it feels like it happens overnight.
The whole drawn out, the Rocky Paulie discussion on the stairwell, Tommy watching the fight going down to the basement, then he fights in the church basement type thing. That whole transition was just I know. I agree.
We concur. Speaking of Tony, he's in the press conference scene, and I think he's spotted helping them move. Then poof, he's gone until 2006. Was he? I don't remember seeing him when they moved.
Back at the truck area, I think.
Oh, okay. That's nice. I just missed it.
I think we were just saying for speaking lines. I knew he was in the press conference too, but I don't even think he really spoke. Did he say any lines at that conference? I can't remember.
I don't remember either. I don't think so.
But still, very short filming. If he was there for the training of Tommy, that just would have been so cool. But yeah.
He goes on to say, technically, though, Tony was Rocky's trainer a lot more than Mickey was. Crazy to think about.
When you're a child, it's your formative years. And so things that happen to you as a child, or you're told as a child, have a bigger impact on you than as an adult.
All right.
And so I think Mickey was there at the beginning. What he said hit more than what Tony said. And I don't think Tony was mixing in life lesson type of stuff into his training like Mickey was, even though he is technically correct that Tony maybe would have spent more training time with him. The magnitude and quality of that time, I think, differ quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree. It was the transformative part of Rocky's life to go from a bum to the champion, where Tony did help, beat Drago, of course. But that, I agree, is that formative from the nobody to somebody years that Mickey was a part of.
And I want to say with the Tony and Drago thing, like even Tony said there, this is mostly going to be you. I'm just here for support. Tony's there saying, yeah, like one more, you can do it type of thing. But he wasn't telling Rocky, okay, you need to do this with your technique or that, at least that we could see as an audience.
Yeah, it was really more his shirtless scenes in 3.
Yes.
I really vibed with Tony. But yeah, further to you all's point that the formative years with Mickey, he was in that gym. He was in Mick's gym for, what was it, 7 or 8 years before Mickey truly became his manager.
I think it was 10 years ago I came to you.
Yeah, but Mickey ignored him or treated him like shit that whole time, though.
Yeah,
like, I don't know,
true, but he looked up to him. It was like Mick's gym. And,
true. Like, he probably maybe overheard things or saw it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I also noticed, Katie, you said you all, and as opposed to y'all, which I respect that. Nothing wrong with y'all, but
I do sometimes say y'all. I'm not Southern or anything, but it is an efficient contraction.
My daughter has started to say it because she's getting it off TikTok or whatever, and I'm like,
oh, like Southerners, like yeah, oh yeah.
Already derailed the conversation.
Yeah. Oh dear. Okay, so Andy goes on to say, oh, and Sly's weird with messing up names, even in his own movies, Miles or George Juergens. Where was the George Juergens?
I don't remember that either.
That does ring a bell. I think that is in there.
But I trust Andy. I trust him.
Yeah, I just don't remember. And then the most famous one is Hawk or Hawks in Over the Top. Like, it's literally all over that movie, both Hawk or Hawks. He says it drives him nuts. Hot take. What if they'd built up Tommy's championship fight as the big finale, where the breakup with Rocky happens? Maybe we're watching the fight, rooting for Tommy to win, but not fall to the dark side. And during it, we feel Rocky losing him to Duke. Man, that could have given the ending more weight. To get another crack at the idea would be wild. Also, didn't Rocky bury the belt with Apollo? You guys got me rethinking this whole movie.
That's what we're here for, Andy. Basically, with that fight against Union Kane, you could have Rocky in the corner. That's what he's saying, that Rocky is in the corner. And so he wins the championship with Rocky in the corner, but the turn to the dark side happens during that moment. That would have given a more dramatic oomph. It's only a 2-minute fight or wherever it was, but you could have a couple rounds, see Tommy thank Duke with Rocky in the ring. That'd be even more brutal, is what he's saying. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
The scene when Rocky is hitting the bag in the basement. I like that, or because it really just, maybe it's too on the nose, but it shows the audience that Rocky really is living through.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't do that if he's like a corner guy, but I'm not opposed to this idea of Rocky being in the corner there. Like, I'm torn on it. There's kind of advantages and disadvantages to both.
There's a lot of stuff this film could have done that would, I think it could have been one of the greatest Rocky films ever. There's a couple tweaks here and there. Katie?
Yeah, like people hate it, but there's so just close. A few things. Sometimes there's just like one little thing ruins the whole thing. I'm not saying it's ruined. I am still a Rocky V apologist, but to others, it is going to ruin a few things.
I agree with that, and I like what he's saying there. That being the finale, like that would have been a great piece of drama. However, I do think people need Rocky to fight in a Rocky movie.
I don't think you want that to be the over part. Then they still would have had the street fight or something to that effect. I could be reading that wrong. It would be weird to end on that note because that just ends on a dark note. So I think there could have still been a fight or an altercation after, but I think I could be wrong, Andy. Let us know in the next comments. I think he's saying that he's ringside when he gets betrayed almost. He's there in the corner. Because right now what's happening during this fight that he has on the theater cut is that we're not even rooting for Tommy to win against Union King. So he's saying it'd be more of a betrayal that we're in the court. All right, Tommy, you got him. Yeah, Tommy was. And then we find out that, Tommy's he's going to be put on his Darth Vader suit during this match. Andy, my question is, what do you expect to happen after? What's the part that happens after that?
I would have loved to see is Rocky and Tommy fight in that church, in that ring. And then it ends by panning up to that picture, that Jesus picture. The series starts there. The series ends there. Because we don't know that Balboa is going to take place. Rocky V was intended to be the end. So with that in mind, having it go full circle to Rocky having his last fight in that ring and panning up to that, I think that would have been a cool ending.
Ooh, I love that, Kyle.
Yeah, I need to get into film. I have ideas, people. I have ideas.
What do you guys think about him saying, didn't Rocky bury the belt with Apollo?
It was ceremonial. Do you think it was actually buried with him?
There's many different belts. So that belt is based on a real belt. The lineal title belt from Ring Magazine. Like, that's like the WBC or whatever belt. Guys, now there's 8 belts on there. Aren't that many, but... So there's this scene with Mike Tyson after he's retired. And this reporter's at his home. And Mike Tyson has these belts there after he's lost them. which leads me to believe that you're given at least a replica or something of that belt. There probably is a belt that does physically get passed on from one fighter to the other. But if you're a former champion, I think, and I'd have to research this, I think you get some sort of copy of a belt or something like that. So maybe that's like Apollo's copy of his belt. That's not necessarily the one that gets passed around. But
that's fair. So
if the belt's buried with him, it has to be something like that. It's not going to be the belt. You can't just bury that thing.
That's right. That's how I figure. I think we're led to believe for the average moviegoer who isn't Kyle regarding belts and how they work. I think the average moviegoer, especially as a kid, you're seeing the championship belt the same way as when I was a kid, I would see Hulk Hogan hold up the world championship heavyweight belt. That's just the belt they wear when they're champion. So I just thought he put it there ceremonially and then it was taken away when they buried it.
That's interesting, Ryan. You, as a kid growing up, assumed that they didn't actually bury the belt.
Yeah, I even thought then that it was just it was a ceremonial, like you're the champ, but yeah, we can't bury this in the.
Got it.
We can't put this thing underground.
I did always think that they buried it. I grew up thinking that, and that's how you can explain it away. He got another belt because he got another.
Well, sure, if it's a whatever belt like Kyle explained, then I'm okay with it. Fine, they buried that one. It's not the one that's actually awarded to the champion. Maybe
is it possible that he buried Apollo's belt with Apollo, and it wasn't Rocky's belt?
Sure. That's what I mean. That's why I was confused. I just thought it was the belt that Rocky literally was awarded.
I thought so too. Me too. I thought he was giving it to him.
You was always the champ, or whatever he said. You were always the best, or whatever he said. But then that was ceremonial to show that with the belt. But then they pulled it away when it went underground. But who knows? I guess we'll never see it happen. All right. So what's next there on that?
Greg Wrightson agrees that it was Pittsburgh before breakfast. We were having a hard time discerning what Rocky said when he and Tommy were running up the steps. And he's like, oh, we got to hurry up. We got to get to, and then we couldn't quite distinguish it. Who was it in the chat? Was it Donald in the chat?
He said it was as well. Sometimes people comment when they're listening before they get to the answers. Sometimes I think that might have been him saying, like, they commented as they listen live, but I think we did say in the show later that it was Pittsburgh. I think we agreed to that as well. Yeah.
And then we have one from the real Hector Canales. Hi all, I've been trying to comment or email, but by then it's so long after the episode that I don't think it would even be relevant.
It's always relevant. Talk about a movie that came out 30 odd years ago. You can comment at any point there. Our favorite wrestler, Hector.
He says, but I had to comment on the shorts. Although it's not said in the movies, I believe they are not the same shorts handed down, with ball sweat and all, except between Rocky and Tommy. In Rocky 3, Apollo gives a pair of shorts to Rocky, with him saying, Apollo, these are your colors, although Apollo does tell Rocky to wash them before he gives them back. Anyway, I think Apollo's original shorts were probably part of evidence and given to his wife later. Rocky probably had to commission a pair to take with him to Russia, as Rocky didn't speak to Marianne or have contact with her after the funeral. To save himself the embarrassment of asking if he could use Apollo's shorts, he just paid the $100 to get new ones made. Later in life, he did the same to make Adonis some shorts, but it was the son of the shorts maker who did those, who previously worked for an entrance robe manufacturer. Hence, they are so loose and baggy. Haha, that's a good one. He says, there, I tied it all together. You're welcome. Have a great rest of your day knowing where the shorts came from. Now, let's talk about how Luke's lightsaber ended up in that chest. Yeah, I'm not a Star Wars person, so
no idea.
For
all you Star Wars nerds, that's a whole other discussion, and I'm sure there's been thousands of episodes or hours spent on the internet regarding the Luke Skywalker saber, but that's his way of...
The chain of custody of those shorts is up for debate. My personal theory is that the shorts are Apollo's, and the way they get to Rocky is that I believe the shorts probably were given to Marianne, but then they got to Tony. And from Tony, they went to Rocky. Because I agree that Rocky would not have spoken to Marianne. That'd be weird, and they're not that close anyway. But I could see, because Tony is part of Apollo's boxing life, Marianne probably resents those shorts. Do you really want to keep the shorts your husband died in? Yeah. She probably asked Tony, do you want these? He said yes, and then he gives them to Rocky. That's my theory, but there's many different ways it could happen. And I think it is possible they're not really Apollo's either.
Yeah, the problem is too is the evidence on screen doesn't really help. I think we talked about this before, where the shorts look different. You could argue it's just props are built differently. Are those really the same shorts that Apollo wore during their first fight? Because I think the wording that Hector's saying there is that Rocky says these are your colors.
But then he points to further evidence. There's 2 times where they could have switched hands, and I do 100% think that Apollo gave Rocky his actual shorts in Rocky 3 because he says, just make sure you wash them before you give them back.
Yeah, otherwise it's a gift if they're a replica.
It's odd to say give them back if they're not the same. Fair
but
enough.
Then Apollo, so we assume that he did give them back at some point, and Apollo wears them and is killed in them.
Okay.
And then we talked about, okay, they really take them off his dead body and give them to Rocky, or Hector's saying here it could just be a replica. But very clearly in Creed, they're different. Like he just had a new.
Yeah, no question. Creed.
Yeah, Creed is no question. Yeah,
those are literally the colors. This is the design your dad wore. Yeah,
in the theme.
Yeah,
whatever those shorts are, whether they're Apollo shorts or a replica, there's no reason to think Tommy gave them back to Rocky.
Yeah.
So
Now, and which sucks.
And that's all on you, Rocky. Like you should be giving people stuff like that. Like
that's so true. That's funny. Yeah, we can all agree maybe how Rocky got them. Did Tommy ever give them back? That's the real question.
That's like expanding on my analogy last time. I talked about going on a date and giving a girl like this expensive earrings on your second date. It'd be like saying you're dating a girl for 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's here's this necklace that was my grandma's that's been in the family forever. I want you to have this because I'm infatuated with you. And then
it's too
she
much.
decides to keep it after you break up. I'm like,
even worse, it's here's my grandmother's wedding dress that clearly won't fit you because you're like 4 times the size. Tommy and Rocky are not the same size, like very clearly.
All things being equal, I think the movie wants, that's the thing. I think the movie just wants us to believe that, yes, those are the shorts that Apollo has worn. Rocky wore them. Apollo wore them again. Now Tommy's wearing them. It's like the cufflink passing. And it's just him saying, yeah, these are really important, especially to me. But what was terrible about that whole scene is the way he just chucks them over his shoulder at Tommy. Odd behavior by Rocky to treat them that way. Why he didn't hand them over ceremoniously like Apollo did. He throws them at Tommy. It's just weird. The whole scene's weird. So I should know better. Okay.
So Eccentric View says, I had inquired what part of Australia the most Italians are so that I could move there. And he says, Katie, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Melbourne has the most Italians. It's the 2nd largest city with a 5 million population. It's where I live. Ooh.
It sounds like an invite to me.
Yeah. Hey, I like it. 5 million is that's a good size.
That's what she said.
I like it. I might have to move to Melbourne.
All right, good. We'll miss you, or it's going to be harder to correlate our time.
Yeah, our timeline we'll really struggle with our time zones. Boy. Escape 5150. Is this a new person?
I think so.
He says, it says 7/28/90, like the date stamp on the video of the work print.
Yeah.
Which means it was filmed in the summer and they were dressed for scenes that take place in the winter. So they must have been really hot. Yeah, like hot and muggy. Isn't Philly like a muggy
probably
area?
Yeah, it's humid. It's humid. I've been there in June and it was pretty hot. So July would be a lot worse.
Yeah, it's a good observation. Yeah, good job on seeing the timestamp there. And I was thinking that we're going to get to the Christmas scene, not the whole thing. We're going to start it, but the Christmas sequence, and that was filmed in July, which is weird to think that they're. I know it's a Christmas scene, but the actors have to get into Christmas spirit in the middle of summer. It's funny, but that's what acting's all about, folks. That's what acting's all about.
And didn't we talk about that in the first Rocky movie with the bushes in front of their house?
Yeah,
like it was Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever.
Just a late winter. We could just argue it was a late winter. Yeah. There's no snow. There's nothing.
No.
But then there was snow in Rocky too. So who knows? I don't even know. Yeah. Is that it for comments or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome stuff, guys. Thanks for the great comments on YouTube. That seems to be where people are going now. But don't be like Kyle. Still send us an email. It's okay. It's not that hard. You can do it. You just got to punch in the address and the same things you wrote in the comment section. You can put it in an email, but that's our challenge. Who's going to be the next person in emails? Who's going to tell us in an email that, Kyle, it's not that hard, and give us an email?
Yeah, all you got to do is pop in your AOL Online CD and get your dial-up.
Stop telling people this. It's easy. Stop discouraging our listeners. Okay. All right, here we go. This is actually, so we started the training sequence with the Vince DiCola montage. I rewatched the second half of it that we haven't seen yet. It's pretty much just extended fight footage of Tommy with other fighters. I can see why they pared it down. Not that it's boring, not that it's not interesting footage, but there's nothing new except for one scene. It's a whole new scene.
Be like a machine. Look to it. Look at more. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Time.
For audio listeners, we've got a new scene here for the cut, the workers print cut, is they're training inside. I think it's mixed gym. It's hard to tell. First off, they got Jimmy with them, and not Mike, of course. Jimmy from the first film. But do you see what he's wearing? See what Jimmy's wearing?
No,
he's wearing
Jimmy.
What he's wearing. Jimmy's wearing the Rocky robe or the Rocky crew corner crew jacket that he wore in the first Rocky film.
Oh Jesus! I totally.
How did I miss that? The pink
I was just
one?
noticing
The pink
Tommy
one.
wearing the colors during training, which I thought was weird. I totally ignored what Jimmy or Mike was. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you're right. Yes, same Kyle. I noticed the Tommy gun on Rocky, but
So yeah, speaking of colors, Tommy's wearing the colors for training, which is odd. You're right. That's like wearing the wedding dress before the wedding. You shouldn't be wearing them yet. But yeah,
Wow.
Mike, we have to assume that Mike, the twin brother of Jimmy, gave Jimmy.
good catch, Ryan. I didn't. That's wild.
But what's interesting because it's Jimmy Gambino, the actor, who is a real boxing trainer in real life. That's his real job. He just does side movies with boxing. It's just interesting. He pulled that out of his closet. I was on the first Rocky film and he brought this on, right? Anyway, so Tommy's hitting the speed bag. What you heard, folks, is there's a lot of ladies in the crowd watching a la Rocky 3 with the public watching the training. So there's a little bit of a nod to that. But there's more to this.
I want to point out a failing of Rocky's training methods here.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you go back to the first film, Rocky was starting to get female attention. And Mickey shut that down.
Okay, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Okay.
Oh, just wait.
Okay.
Just wait. I want to hear your comments, but there's more to the scene. You'll see.
Did he tell him to move their chicken asses?
Yeah.
Close.
There's a dog in the crowd too.
Yeah, there's a dog in the crowd.
That's
There's
strange.
no way Mick would allow dogs in the gym. Not a chance.
That's it. One. Dig it in. Be like a machine. Look to it. Look at more. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Time.
Hey, what do you think about these two over here? Not bad. Hey, listen, I'm thinking about getting a place of my own.
You know, you're welcome on my place. You know, Tommy and Mickey used to say, women weak and late.
Hey, well, maybe your leg's not mine, huh? Excuse me for a minute.
Oh, we lost Katie. Katie's gone. We gotta go back.
Maybe she
again.
was offended by the women weak and legs comment.
I think so. Katie, why'd you leave us? Were you offended by the girls screaming at Tommy?
Yeah, because everything was just spinning. I don't know. I'm sorry. I had to refresh.
Okay, that's good. Okay, let's go back again. It's okay. So the girls are screaming. The dog's in the crowd there. I love the dog. Beautiful dog. And here we go. The audio's kind of hard, but I'll just say it now and you'll hear it again. Tommy says, Rocky, I should get my own place. And Rocky's, well, no, you can stay with me. But it's funny that Tommy's saying I should get my own place, and we'll see why he wants his own
Gee,
place.
I wonder.
Well, he commented on two of the women there.
Yeah,
He
because
says,
what do you
look
think
at
of
those two? And then he says, maybe I should get my own place, which even Rocky could put together what he means by that.
Oh, yeah, there's more. There's more.
Oh, I missed that by
so
being
we're
gone.
back.
Okay.
We're back.
Okay.
We're back. Here we go.
Hey, what do you think about these two over here? Not bad. Hey, listen, I'm thinking about getting a place of my own.
You know, you're welcome on my place. You know, Tommy and Mickey used to say, women weak and late.
Hey, well, maybe your leg's not mine, huh? Excuse me for a minute. Hey!
Maybe your leg's not mine.
Look, let's be real here. He's a young man. He's virile.
He's 19. He's 19 years old in real life, and the fighter, probably the character too. He's young, 19, 20.
Tommy Morrison, even if he wasn't a famous boxer, guy could pull. I'm sure he could get girls. I think so. Someone like that who's in great shape.
Sure.
Yeah, he's not your type, Katie, but he's somebody's type.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
But he's got a good build. He's young. He's strong. Girls love fighters, man. They love tough men. I'm certainly not that. I guarantee you, he's like Kyle says, he could. Is that what the kids say, Kyle? Pull? I remember
He could pull.
I thought you were saying if he was a nobody.
No, either way.
I'd say, but if he looked like that, even if he wasn't world champion, Because if you're world champion, you pull at a different level. Don't get me wrong. But he's not going to be an incel or whatever.
No, of course not. Of course not. You're probably right. This is no offense to him. His face is not attractive.
Fair enough. There's some subjectivity there, but at any rate,
of course,
he's a young man. My point is, he probably got some attention from girls. Like they see this character back in Oklahoma, but the level of attention he's getting now, much, much, much higher. And most men are not used to that. Usually we have to pursue. Women might hint or flirt at you, but they're not going to be like throwing themselves at you for the most part. I think it's very difficult for someone in his position not to want to get with these girls, like super, super hard. You need a strong hand to say, get your chicken asses out of there. You need someone like Mick to shut that down right away. You can't rely on Tommy to have the self-discipline to be celibate. You can't do that. I don't believe that women actually weaken your legs, but I think it's the idea that
distraction. I think it's
you're distracted. You have to be focused and disciplined to your training. Get laid after your fight, right?
That's what Mickey was saying. Is enough of this domestic stuff. That's all. It wasn't so much sex. It was like you keep talking about this girl and think problems at home or problems with your girlfriend or she's texting you or we got to focus on the fights. I'm not a fighter and I've never trained for a fight, but it'd be interesting to hear from any of our fighters who might listen. Like, are girls or whatever, is your partner or somebody you're dating a distraction?
There is a belief out there, though, and I don't necessarily agree with it. There is a belief that a sexual release will lower your testosterone. I don't know if there's any science behind that, but that there is that belief around. And I remember like Ronda Rousey, former UFC champion, who's a female, claimed that for women, it's the opposite, that when you have sexual intercourse, your testosterone as a woman increases, which is very helpful in a fighter. I, again, don't think there's real truth to that. But whether it's true or not is irrelevant. It's whether people believe it's true. And I think there is a belief in that community, especially at this time, by some people, that if you're having sex, you physically are weaker as a result of that. It's like the big difference between Rocky and Mick, and we see this with Rocky all the time. Rocky is not confrontational whatsoever. He is a pushover. He's not going to confront those women. He's not confronting Tommy. He's just there, just taking it. And someone like Duke is going to walk all over him. Someone like Tommy is going to walk all over him. He needed the Mickey in his life to do the confrontation for him. And in that way, he's not Mickey.
I was just going to further comment about the release, like the sexual release, like women weaken legs. I agree that it's like the distraction, the emotional distraction, but isn't it also the idea that it's not necessarily even the hormones of the physical release? It's that you're still frustrated. And by not having sex, you're physically frustrated, and then you can get that out in the fight.
That's what I understood to be, was the idea that you're just not angry, but you're just like, rah, I just got
yeah. But you're right, Kyle. The average person or the average man, even woman, if you all of a sudden have people that you're attracted to throwing themselves at you, it's going to be hard to say no. Yeah, and again, furthering that Rocky did, he's so put on a pedestal for us. Rocky is not like every other fighter that will sleep around.
He did what Mickey said. He goes, all right, I'll, no more fooling around. Which it bugs me in that movie to this day, as they say, where Rocky and Mickey have that talk about, no more fooling around. Rocky tells Adrian with the meat, after the meat, he comes home and she's unwrapping his hands and she goes in and leans in for a kiss. And Rocky says, hey, no fooling around before a fight. He says that line. Then he has the Mickey scene after that scene. It always threw me off.
It's probably not the first time Mickey has said it.
But the way Rocky says it to Adrian, he's no fooling around before a fight. He's almost angry that he has to live that rule, and he's mad at Adrian for trying. But then he has a discussion with Mickey. Oh, okay, no more fooling around before. That's a good idea, Mickey. The way he responds to that instruction, it wasn't a reminder. It's like he's hearing it for the first time. But he's already told his girlfriend that same message earlier. But the way he hears it from Mickey is, no more fooling around before a fight.
But I really like this girl, though. Yeah. When he says that, it leads me to believe that in his mind, he probably did know, but then he rationalized it. Because it's not just banging some random chick. I'm really not supposed to do this, but I'm with this girl I've been wanting to be with forever. And now that I'm finally with her, I can't have sex with her.
I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree with that's how he felt, but it doesn't... that's a lot of thought process for the way he responded. It didn't seem that way. That body language, the way he toned it, didn't. I get what you're saying, and he did feel that way about her. But the way Mickey instructed him sounded like new information. Like he responded to it like it was new information.
It was filmed out of order, and that was probably a mistake. You're probably right, Ryan. My rationalization is that he knew that. Mickey's told him that before and whatever. Yeah.
That's what I mean. We're retconning it. We're retconning it. But I think behind the scenes, that's all I'm saying. It was either filmed out of order or, oh, shoot, we already did this kind of thing. Because it was filmed guerrilla style quickly. I didn't even catch it until years later, probably doing this podcast. I don't know if I ever would have caught it. Yeah. All right.
Do you think maybe he just did stuff on her just to keep her at bay? Probably not.
I certainly hope so. Because why is she being punished?
Yeah, exactly. My legs don't matter here. Come on.
Okay, so now we're going to get Jimmy / Mike. He's going to talk to Rocky here about this whole back and forth.
He can never let you get away without.
Yeah, well, times change.
I love that little acting that Sly does here. He's like, but you talk about the pushover there, Kyle. That's what you mean. Now he's rationalizing why things are different. Oh, times changed. Maybe sex is okay 20 years later. It was bad in the 70s. He's trying to figure out why it's okay for Tommy to be this way, and maybe times change.
With this work print being better as a story because everybody else is seeing it but Rocky. Paulie's seeing it, bringing it up to Rocky. Adrian is seeing it, and now even Mike / Jimmy it's like everybody's pointing out
you're losing influence on this guy. Your influence is like he came to you hat in hand begging, I'll do anything. Remember he was that begging plea, I'll do anything, whatever you say, I am yours. If it doesn't work out, no harm, no foul, kick me out of here. But now we're seeing that the fame and soon to be money that's going to be dangled in front of him, it corrupts him.
You don't have to be like Mickey where you're extremely abrasive and you're yelling at everyone. But what you can do is you sit Tommy down, maybe just you and him, and say, look, buddy, if you want me to train you, you got to do things my way. Yep. And that includes not being distracted by this stuff. If you want to go get your own place and be with all these women, you could do that. I'm not telling you what to do. But I'm going to choose not to train you as a result of that. So it's up to you. Sure. Make your choice.
Yep.
100%. Also, he's cooling down now. Before, when Rocky's kid wanted to talk to him.
Yeah, that's right.
Tommy's, hey, I'm cooling down over here. But now, now I want to talk to these girls, and it's fine if I cool down now.
Tommy, thankfully, Tommy's not interested in Rocky's kid. He's interested in the legal adults, hopefully legal. Okay, so that's the way that scene plays out. I wish this was kept. It took, 10 seconds, 20 seconds? Anyways, then the workers' print cuts into now Tommy's with the redhead in the front row, and they're going to look at the new digs there. Okay, so there's that scene. Okay, now we're going to go back to this one. So now we're back to the theatrical cut. All this stuff has happened. The training montage, and Paulie now says, of course, again, it's over. You're losing Tommy. You've lost him. Paulie totally recognizes it. Like everyone's saying here, all this evidence with the workers' print combined is really clear now, but Rocky just can't. No offense to him, but it's not like he's stupid, but he can't see what is it? You can't see the trees. You can't see the forest because of the trees or whatever that saying is. He's too thick into it.
Yeah, he has no backbone and he's in denial. One thing I like about Rocky Balboa film in the Creed films is the Rocky character he'll confront you like he confronted those guys outside of the bar. He'll tell Adonis or whoever what he really thinks. He's more in command of things. He's more sure of himself. This Rocky, this does echo of a previous Rocky here, like Rocky 5. He's always been like this. And yeah, it sucks. He probably does know to some degree that he's losing Tommy, but I think he doesn't want to admit it. He's just in denial. He's no, it's okay. It's okay.
100% because he looks sad. He looks defeated every time he's told those things by various people. He clearly knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You fought a great fight, Paulie.
The ship is sunk, Loco. It's sunk.
Look at his face.
There's a good face. That's a good thumbnail there, actually. I like that face there. Looking very handsome there.
So in the background, you have Duke, Tommy, and the redhead. And Duke's hand is on her shoulder. And she looks like...
Oh, yeah, she doesn't like it.
To the audio listeners... It would be like if a cockroach crawled across your shoulder or something, and you're just like, ah!
Yeah, she is not happy with Duke touching her shoulder. That's funny, but I assume it's the character, not the actual actress being touched by Duke.
Well, maybe she's a racist. Who knows?
That's true.
Just joking.
He's her boss.
I don't think you're racist.
Yeah, he's her boss. Also, she has a white dress on, and I know I've noticed Adrian wore like a cream-colored skirt suit in one of the Rockies too to a fight, and I find it so strange to wear white. If your man is the fighter, that white is going to get bloody or sweaty or something. Why are you wearing white to a fight?
Maybe she wants to avoid other kinds of noticeable stains. You know what I mean?
That's right.
No blue dress.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I learned so much about that stuff as a young teen during that whole trial. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
All the things that Bill did to Monica or vice versa.
What did you do with the cigar?
Yeah. I was like, oh, you smoked it after? That's crazy. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they call power, folks. That's what they refer to as power. That is a George Washington Duke move. George Washington Duke is probably getting it for the redhead while he's on the phone with.
Oh, there's no way George Washington Duke did not have that redhead. Not a chance.
Oh yeah, that comes with the job.
Yeah.
Funny. Speaking of like '90s era Bill Clinton,
Sure,
he looks like Tommy. Like they have a very similar face and hair, like
fun.
that curly,
I remember,
like mop top.
There's a picture of Bill
Chubby.
Clinton as a teenager shaking JFK's hand.
Oh wow.
Oh really?
And yeah, because he was part of some youth organization that met with the president, and Bill Clinton. He does resemble Tommy a bit, like a skinny. He's a lot skinnier as a teenager than Tommy would be here. But if you want to see young Bill Clinton compared to Tommy, that's a good picture to look up.
All right. So a little thing here. A lot of this cuts just normal between the worker and theatrical. The only difference was the worker's print. The movie they were watching, the worker's print, it's not worth showing. It's just envision it. It's the same shots, but It's a Wonderful Life. That's the movie they were watching instead of Christmas Vacation. Funny enough. So in this movie, they're watching Christmas Vacation, but in the worker's print, the kids were watching It's a Wonderful Life on TV.
It's a Wonderful Life is like not the best movie to watch with your teen friends.
Yeah, it makes more sense that the kids are watching. Yeah,
Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
It only came out like a year before, like the winter previous to this film's release. Like it was 89, I think. This was 90.
Little did I know that would be a classic film that's still watched.
I watch it every Christmas. Every time I think I'm not going to, I just end up doing it again. Yeah.
Back in the day, kids, if you're listening, when you have to just flip channels and watch whatever happened to be on your TV instead of streaming or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd always come across it at Christmas. I'd always catch it just randomly. I'd never try to watch Christmas Vacation. It just happened organically. Mm-hmm. And that's the best way to watch a movie. It hits different when you just bump into it. Yeah, it happened upon it. Exactly.
Yeah, nobody knows what that's like now. But I think TBS, similarly with A Christmas Story, I think they would play it on repeat for the 24 hours around Christmas time.
Yeah. I haven't seen the sequel yet. Has anyone seen the sequel to that one? Oh, okay. Come on, movie.
Look at the tiny tube TV.
Got hung up in traffic. Adrian should have been here by now.
Why?
Why? It's Christmas time. He should be here with his family, you know.
Well, maybe he doesn't think this is his family.
Sure it is.
I love the way Talia Shire, the way she does that little motion there, very Italian. We don't see that very much from Adrian, the character, but she just seems like a real housewife married to Rocky. This is what I love about Adrian in this fifth film. To me, it's the real Adrian. She's a housewife. She's making meals. I don't know why that little motion with her hands is a really good little moment Talia does.
I love the Adrian character. I think she would be a great wife. She's not like I'm the little housewife that does whatever my husband says type of thing. Right. But she's also not like a bitch who nags you about everything. Adrian's a strong woman, but also a nice person and a considerate person. She's very well balanced that way, where she's going to tell Rocky what she thinks, but she's not going to be a dick about it. And she contributes and she's supportive. And yeah, he definitely did very well marrying her.
Agreed. They're a very good couple. Both from that point of view, but also they just look good together. This gorgeous Italian couple. I love it.
It's funny, Katie, you have said this many times regarding Rocky, the character. Adrian's ruined woman for me. There you go. I think for a lot of men, we love our wives, but ... we're talking about fantasy land here. I think most men, I'm speaking for most, and as a man, most men love the Adrian character for who she is, the way she is to her husband. But the way she treats her man, the way she treats her husband, men love that. Just like I was saying, she's not a pushover, but she's not a bitch either. It's a partnership. But at the same time, she still listens when Rocky talks, feedback, supports him. You always talk about how Rocky's ruined men for you. In some way, I think Adrian's done that to men. I think we see the perfect wife in Adrian. Yeah,
it's a pretty equal partnership, especially for being at this time where the man is considered like the head of the household by a lot of people and stuff. I feel like Adrian and Rocky is not just she just follows his lead. I feel like in general they're pretty equal and they treat each other as such. It's pretty cool to see.
It is. He would be lost without her.
Yeah.
And he is. I guess we see that in the next movie. But yeah, I love them.
Yes.
I just love them as a couple.
I love them too. And I love Adrian and all the film, of course, the first 5 films. And I like to believe, like, after this film, till her death in 2000, what was it? What was the year of her death? I don't remember exactly.
Oh, 2002 is when Adrian died.
2002? Okay.
Yeah.
So for the next, it's weird to think she's only alive for another 12 years or so. Oof. That's sad. But anyways, I'm going to pretend that it never happened just because of my fantasy that she lives a full life with Rocky. But that being said, that's what we're led to believe at the end of Rocky 5. That's what makes Rocky Balboa, which we'll get to it. I know a lot of people love that film, but I have a lot of issues. Okay, here's a quick hot take. Here's a quick tease. I like Rocky 5 better than Part 6. I'm sorry. That's my hot take. The same hot take Kyle has regarding Rocky 4 not being his favorite, not really liking it. That's my feelings on Rocky Balboa has really, of all the films, it has dropped the most since its release ratio-wise. Absolutely.
I think that's fair. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I will reserve my opinions.
This Rocky Balboa doesn't hold the same luster. I think Rocky 5 feels more like a Rocky film to me than even Balboa. Yeah.
Over time.
I'm a nostalgia whore. And for that reason, I love Rocky Balboa. And I'll be unapologetic about it.
Oh, yeah. I love it, too. This is where people get mad. I wanted to do a stupid podcast dedicated to these films, so I didn't enjoy watching or talking about them. But I'm just saying there's something about the 6th film where it's as good as it is in many ways. There's a lot of issues I have with it, and I look forward to talking about those when we get there. Okay. All right. So Adrian says maybe he doesn't think this is his family, but that's her way of saying, I don't think he's a part of this family.
Yep. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not.
I don't care. I don't really care what he thinks. I don't think Tommy's a part of this family. But again, she doesn't say that because she knows how important Tommy is to Rocky. She's throwing Tommy under the bus a little bit. Maybe he's dumping us because he doesn't like us.
Adrian, as much as she does push back and stuff, she was a bit late here. I wish she would have pushed back earlier. I think her character would have. This is a mistake in the writing of the film. They have that confrontation on the street later. But I think in reality, and maybe this happens not on camera, where she's like, Rocky, what are you doing? What are we doing with this guy? You're not paying attention to your son. This guy is being influenced by Duke. What is happening here? Come on, man. Get it together. I feel like she would have said that earlier. I feel like she wouldn't have waited till that street blew up.
Yeah, you could argue that she's had more minor talks with him about it, and this is really where it comes.
I think it's the Christmas. It pushes it to the edge. Okay, now we're getting to the part. This is our family activity, which leads us to believe that yes, this is the first Christmas since they've met. This is all weird. The timeline's weird. This doesn't seem like this is the 3rd Christmas. This is the first one they've had with Tommy. Yeah.
Yes, the Rocky Universe time warp is a hell of a ride.
It's crazy. We won't get to the scene, but Tommy says he's 22-0. So right now, at this point in time, he's 22-0 right now. He'll say it.
He's doing 3 fights a night. Some of those, it's a first round knockout. I could do another fight. Like, why not?
Maybe. Yeah.
But we're led to believe this is their first Christmas with Tommy. So how many months have really passed then? 3? 4? This is the start of the school year. So September to December.
3.5 probably.
To be fair to Tommy, where would you rather be at Christmas? Where would you rather be? Would you rather be here watching Christmas Vacation with these kids and having Adrian make passive-aggressive comments at you because she hates you? Or would you rather be with a bunch of hot chicks in this luxurious place, eating awesome food, having a good time? Okay, come on.
Christmas time to me, it's not a sexy holiday. It's a very like family, all the
Of
feels.
course. Tommy didn't have that upbringing, right? Remember, he was beaten by his father.
Yeah,
He
Christmas
was
always sucked at his place.
Probably Christmas. Yeah, for him, this is the best Christmas he's ever had.
Even more to the point of, wouldn't you rather be with your newfound family like Rocky?
No, you want to get that redhead who has massive boobs, who's got to for sure put out. And you're going to be wanting to drink with Duke and all those people. And you want to be at a mansion and you want to have all this attention. Yeah, if you're a 21-year-old guy, that is 100% what you want to be doing.
Yeah, I suppose.
He has no nostalgia to draw from.
Yeah, because like me, I would want to be with my family and I'd want to be, you know what I mean?
Once the kids go to bed, then the redhead can come over.
Yeah, exactly. Like balance, man. Balance.
No kidding. You can do both, Tommy. Yeah, a good point.
No, I meant the redhead for me.
Oh.
Yo, Adrian, look. Look at this. I want to give this to him. What do you think?
I think you've given enough.
No, that's a great line. That's a great line. Great delivery by Talia again. But of course, Rocky's showing the cuffling that he got from Mickey. And he's already given the shorts. And Adrian's talking about that too, because she responds to that gift in the original montage. But the idea now, you've given enough, i.e., your time, your energy, and everything else. You've given Tommy more than enough. You don't need to give him what Mickey gave you. So, yeah, that's heartbreaking. Of course, Robert sees that.
Yeah, it's a smart way of showing this scene. It brings us behind Robert's head. So we're seeing it through his eyes.
I have a hard time not being really judgmental here. As a dad, he's not abandoning his kids in the sense that he's left with some woman to leave Adrian as a single mom. Not that kind, but the idea that you just ditch your son and you're doing all this stuff right in front of him, that makes me dislike the Rocky character. This scene here really strains it for me, where I'm like, I know you're clueless, but like, this is basic shit here. This is basic. Like, your son is watching you. You're doing this, and yeah, it pisses me off.
It's supposed to, though.
But I like the character so much. It's hard for me to be like, maybe Rocky didn't have a good upbringing growing up, and he didn't see from his dad what it's like to be a good father. And you know,
in jail.
Rocky, he's blinded, but he's living vicariously through Tommy, and that's the reason why he's not trying to be a bad dad. There's all these things that can go through my head that kind of rationalizes why Rocky's being this way. But another part of me is just like, you suck as a dad. You really need to get your act together like yesterday.
It does push us. This is the scene throughout the whole series. We've talked about how much Rocky, the character, is an amazing person. And this pushes us to the brink, or maybe even over the line, where we're like, ooh, Rocky, man. Do you guys think it went too far, or was it needed to have that eruption with Adrian in the street? And then that's the impetus where we come back to Rocky. Now we're back on Rocky's side.
Yeah, and we'll probably get that, obviously, that scene in the next episode. But that scene, of course, that's Adrian's beach scene in Rocky 3. That's her wind speech in Rocky 2. Anyways, Adrian saves Rocky again. But right now, no, this is this is bad. This is Rocky at the lowest form, but he'll snap out of it. He does snap out of it, but this is his lowest form of understanding, reading the room of his son and his wife and his family. He's just totally enamored by Tommy. It's the new woman in his life. He's just enamored. He just cannot see the forest because of the trees.
Hey, come on, Adrian. He's giving us some things too, you know. He's giving us like a second shot, right?
Not us, Rocky. You. The second shot.
Wow.
And he's like, come on, it's Christmas. I love that.
Come on, it's Christmas.
And then it cuts to...
I never noticed that. He says that, and then the next scene is like Duke laughing like that. It's almost like, Duke laughing at Rocky. What an idiot he is.
That's a great editing choice by Sly and Cut there.
Also, Luis asks if it's a faux pas for men under 6 feet tall to wear turtlenecks. It's funny that you say that, Luis, because it's a very 90s sweater choice. And Rocky has always rocked sweaters. And I will say, Luis, ordinarily probably not great to wear a turtleneck if you're a shorter dude. But if you're built like Rocky, you can do anything.
How does height impact the turtleneck? I don't get that.
If you wear a V-neck, that elongates the look. So a turtleneck is the opposite.
It definitely was a 90s thing.
It would be cozy, though. Like if you're out in Philly at Christmas and taking a walk, and maybe you have a light jacket, but you're wearing this turtleneck shirt, and it protects your neck, almost like a scarf around your neck.
It is. Yeah. It is. I will say, turtlenecks are hard. It comes in and out of style. And for men, especially, you have to have a certain jaw structure to pull it off. Tommy doesn't pull it off. Rocky does. It's because Rocky has that very severe jawline and Tommy doesn't.
All right, so now we're at the Christmas event or party that Tommy is ditching the Balboas for. So here we go.
Only in America. Oh, having the best, wearing the best. But to keep it up, you got to stay on top.
Nobody remembers number 2, kiddo.
Tommy.
I love that. George's sidekick says, nobody remembers number 2. And then Ginger pipes in with, I sure don't.
Yeah, to me, that's like a little on the nose by Little Me.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want me to do stuff for you, you better be champion or else.
But George Washington Duke's got a turtleneck on too. It's this season.
So here's interesting. Now, maybe Kyle, you can speak to this. George is going to say, Tommy, I checked with the boxing commission. Is there some sort of like signing authority? Would the boxing commission be aware of who's training this guy? The whole idea of this conversation is that it was never officialized.
No, I don't think so. I could be wrong.
That's just odd. Why would they care?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Mickey trained Rocky. So when Paul started training Rocky in part 3, did they have to go to the boxing commission and say, I hereby declare that I am training Rocky. Sign here, please.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit. I think what he's really saying is, look, you have no contractual obligation with Rocky for him to be your manager, so I could be your manager.
I know what his end game is, but I wonder if he even called the box. This is just blowing smoke up Tommy's butt anyway.
Yeah, to me, the boxing commission would just be able to say, yes, Tommy's licensed to fight in the state of Pennsylvania or wherever.
Yeah. I knew about the licensing, like he's legally allowed to fight, but the whole who's training him, that's weird.
Maybe managers are listed under a trainer in the boxing commission.
Check with the boxing commission. Seems there's no formal contract between you and Balboa.
Nothing, just a handshake.
Tommy, this is a complex business and you got to stay sharp. I don't have to tell you that, do I? Because it got to be damn difficult you living in Rocky's shadow, people calling you his puppet.
I don't know anybody who could have done it as long as you have.
Tommy, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that if you keep going the way you're going, you're going to be watching the parade go by.
Exactly.
God, I hate her.
God, she's bad.
I hate her so much.
Exactly. Now, what I don't understand here is what we'll see later that they tell Rocky, like, you can keep training. My God, you've done a wonderful job. And they even say that to Tommy that he's done a wonderful job, but he just threw Rocky under the bus at the same time. So it's a little bit of mixed messaging. Let's pretend Rocky wants to become just as corrupt as Tommy. They would have allowed Rocky to join.
I think at one point, I don't know if he said it yet, like Rocky could keep training you. That's totally fine. He's done a great job, but I need to take care of the business aspect of what you're doing. And if Duke wasn't such a corrupt asshole, that actually would make a lot of sense because no one is taking, like Rocky's neglecting that part of it. Duke is using all the sales tactics. Sales is you're creating a sense of urgency. You're watching the parade go by. He is making Tommy feel like he's missing out. You're creating a sense of urgency because you do not want someone to think about what they're doing too carefully. You want them to act now, act on impulse. And if you can get them to act on impulse, they can make errors in their decision that benefits you. And him and that manager in the redhead is... They're all tag teaming this guy and manipulating him so easily. It's awesome.
She would know a lot about tag teaming. So the point is there's mixed messages because he's trying to get Tommy under his contract like Union Kane is. Fine. We get it. He's trying to get the hot commodity who's Tommy Gunn, who's destroying the competition. Okay, cool. There's nothing wrong with that, like legally or otherwise. He's trying to get Tommy under contract. Fine. But he tells his Marvin or his buddy there on the phone, he goes, I figured out a way to get to Balboa. So he says that I figured out a way to get we see later what that way is to get. He sees the big ticket as student versus teacher as a fight, as a ticket. But the point I'm trying to say is he will later say too, well, you can keep training him, or he's done a wonderful job. He says it to Tommy and he says it to Rocky. So what I'm arguing is let's just pretend Rocky and Tommy never hate each other. What happens if Rocky says, hey, that's great that you're under George Foreman. Fantastic. You got some proper money behind you. Great. I'm going to keep training you with him running the ticket. So what does this do to George's plan? Because we're led to believe he thinks he automatically knows that Rocky's going to not be on board with this. I guess Let's just pretend alternate universe. Rocky's, hey, great. You're under George. Fine. I'm going to train you. I'll never be mad at you. No matter what you decide to do, I will support.
What I think he's doing right now is he's doing things one step at a time. So step one, he needs to get Tommy under contract, and he'll say whatever he needs to say for that to happen, including, hey, Rocky could train you. Hey, it's all good. Let's just get under contract. Okay, now that we're under contract, I could come up with something else to drive a wedge between him and Rocky. Maybe I'll let Rocky train him for a while, but maybe then I'll start saying, hey, look, people are calling you, as he's hinting here already, Rocky's puppet, Rocky's shadow. Maybe, you've learned all you can learn from Rocky. Maybe we could get a new trainer. He'll slowly, subtly start pushing Rocky away, but he's not going to do it all at once. He's not going to come in too hard.
So he's just playing the long game.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, in theory, his plan would go to shite if Rocky never cared.
Yeah, he'd have to manipulate Tommy to push Rocky away at that point.
I would just love to see that alternate universe, which we'll never see, where both Tommy and Rocky are just agreeable. No matter what George throws at them, they're just agreeable. And
then they'll never fight each other and it won't work. Yeah. But he knows that it's just a matter of time. That if he puts the right pressure on, it's just a matter of time where Tommy splits.
So Duke is managing the current champion.
Union Kane, yep.
You can manage both fighters?
He's probably not technically the manager. He's the
money guy. Yeah.
You'll be under contract that you have to fight the fights that the promoter sets up for you. Probably have some other guy that manages Tommy.
This is what Sly's message for this film was: the corrupt business of boxing. This is what Sly was writing. This is when he does the speech with Tommy in the car. They're going to suck you dry. This is Sly's love letter to boxing. And I think we sometimes forget that. And that's part of the storyline here is Tommy Gunn's fall is the love letter that Sly felt about the boxing world. He wanted it to be honest again.
So both me and the Rocky movies tend to conflate trainer and manager and promoter a little bit. I was under the impression, sounds like incorrectly, that George Washington Duke was Union Kane's manager, but he's not. He's just the promoter. And so in this instance, he's saying, I'll promote the fight, Tommy, and you'll be under contract with me. That's right. But so now Tommy has no manager.
They would just give him one the same way Union Kane has one with his fight. That's why George Washington Duke, when he was in that championship fight, he was still in a shirt and tie. He wasn't wearing the corner crew outfits. Like, he's not part of the crew.
Yeah, this is based on Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson punched Don King at one point.
That's awesome.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Don King has actually murdered someone, I believe.
Yeah, we talked about that. He actually stopped somebody to death.
Oh, I just can't with that. Oh, oof.
He's a murderer.
There's a lot of us who just want to go about living our lives, living in peace, just kind of working, going home, doing our thing. But there is a select group of people that want a lot more than that.
And they F it up for all the rest of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you made me think of another thing. In the Rocky movies, trainer and manager are one and the same, weirdly. But in a real fight, is the manager in the corner? I assumed no.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about
I could see Kane not having a manager or just having a token manager that basically does administrative type of stuff. Because if you had a legit manager, they could push back against you.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I think I was just confused. But yeah, he's just the promoter here. I got it.
Okay, that's fine. We can stop there. It's all good. It's great discussions today. This is what I love about this show is we have some fun discussions, and I hope our listeners enjoy them too. Yeah, that's it. We'll wrap it up there. This episode's over.
I didn't hear no bell.